Another story of a ridiculous mistake that I've made, because this is a popular one. I had a question about give me the worst mistake you made. So here's another one, and hopefully this helps you out. Again, I've got so many. So in the beginning of my business, I was offering maintenance and I was offering landscape. I didn't know how to price landscape. A vendor said just buy plants and double the price. So I just bought plants and I doubled the price, and that was our pricing scheme. Before that, our pricing was even worse. Basically, we would take a guess at the man hours and we would charge the man hours to do the work, not taking into account the drive time to go find the plants, pick out the plants, deliver the plants. It was terrible. Our pricing was horrible. And then it got a little better when the vendor said just double everything. Well, that was only so smart. So that was a mistake. But then let me give you another one. We shouldn't have even been in the landscape business in the beginning. We should have focused solely on maintenance. I didn't understand the landscape business. I didn't like the landscape business. I mean, I think it's a neat business, but I'm not a good, strong designer. I have different talents. So it was painful for me to design landscaping. I shouldn't have been doing it. They seemed to turn out pretty good, but I shouldn't have been doing it. So it was just a painful ordeal. So we have this maintenance client. It's a really good residential client, great people, really, really like them. They were worth a nice amount of money to us every single year. And the wife wanted a landscape job. And I don't remember all the numbers, but I want to say that I proposed something around $2,000. It was a small job. I proposed to 2000. Her husband wasn't receptive to her spending that much money, so she wanted me to cut the service back. Well, cutting the service back meant going with smaller plants, going with smaller crepe myrtle, and then it still wasn't enough. She wanted it cut back further. She wanted us to, and she saw how much we were charging to prep and build flower beds, and she wanted us to cut back the flower beds. Well, our way of building the flower beds was to kill the grass and then dig up the area and bring in new soil. And that costs money, but she wanted us to cut back there, so she convinced us. I knew it was wrong, but she convinced us to spray the grass with Roundup and till it, and create the flower bed that way and put the metal edging around it. And I was resistant because I was afraid that grass would grow up in it. I warned her, grass may grow right back up in the flower bed, but she wanted to get the bill down to this low price point so her husband would go for it. So knowing better, I did it because I wanted to make the client happy. And we did it, and within weeks, what do you know? Grass was growing in the flower beds. We did not do the job the way we should have done it. I let her influence me and put pressure on me, and we cut corners to save her money. Grass grew in the flower beds. Her husband wasn't happy. And understandably, I wouldn't have been happy either, but we did exactly what they asked us to do. Granted, I compromised, but I did exactly what they asked us to do to get the price down. But then when the job didn't turn out right, the client wasn't happy. She ended up apologizing but canceling, saying that her husband said that they had to cancel. They were not happy with the job we did. Grass was growing in the flower beds, and the trees that we installed were too small. We did it all because that's what she asked us to do. I doubt it was communicated to her husband. But the lesson I took away from that was that, number one, we compromised what we knew was right. It cost us the maintenance contract as a result, which cost us a nice amount of money. It also cost us a relationship. Who knows how many referrals it might have cost us. So we sacrificed our quality to do something for the client to make them happy when we did not do what was really best for the client. In our effort to save the client money, we cut corners and we compromised what was best, and it ultimately cost us our reputation, cost us money. So the lesson I take from that is, whenever you're put into that situation, I think you need to stand beside what is right and potentially not win the business, because ultimately doing the job incorrectly will come back to haunt you sooner or later, and that will ultimately cost you a client, and more importantly, it could hurt your reputation, and your reputation is the most important thing you've got, and you've got to protect it. So that was a huge mistake I made that we have since probably very rarely made again.